Good day to you, partner. I'm keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Was just topless laying on my bed trying to kill something.
Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. I was topless on my bed because I thought I was done, and then I remembered that my stupid friend was like, "Could you specifically test mages and archers, please? Because that's important to me." And then I thought I should test one. What was the last thing I tested? It was actually really important. Oh, leveling up, and that was important. That was actually important. By the way, so word on the street is that leveling will still kill additional summons, but we have
Oh, really?
no light evidence. The
Yeah.
guy saying said that happens. His example was pretty poor, but let's say it's the working
Yeah.
theory.
I mean, like if he was testing and he didn't have like, and he was getting max warriors from soft points, like maybe it does. Like,
Yeah, exactly, dude.
yeah.
All of the evidence was pretty bad. Thanks, Cat is on. Okay, I think we're good to go. I already started recording, so we get that beautiful little introduction.
Amazing.
Uh, yep, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King.
Woo, just that other guy.
No, your boy.
It's not your,
Not
not
your
your
boy.
boy.
Oh, okay, that's done. This is the last time we're
Not
talking
your
about
boy.
it.
Yeah.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. He's
Last
not your.
time.
He's my boy. He's my boy now. Okay, we're getting married.
Yeah, man. That's the big news, right?
Yeah, yeah. Did you break
Well, I
it to
know.
your wife yet?
Not yet.
Not
I'll
yet.
let
Well,
her
okay.
know
Well,
after.
yeah. Find a good. Maybe take her out to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going through the patch notes. Do you want to talk about any of the general changes? Let's do patch notes first.
Okay, yeah, let's do patch notes.
Yeah.
I mean, general changes, like we talked about a lot of it already in the last one, so I don't want to re-go through it. I
Hmm.
think like okay, it's in the general at the bottom there. The only new change is really that the Act 4 Light Mercenary is now using Holy Nova, or was
And
Holy
now
Nova,
he's
now it's
using,
Holy Light.
which
So I
is a
think he's going
much
to be
worse ability.
better.
Wait, you think it's
Yeah, well,
better?
well, is Holy Light? No, I'm trying to remember how the rework was done. Is Holy Light now doing better healing?
Right,
Um,
but Holy Nova's the AoE, so he's not going to
yeah,
target you. He'll
probably not.
he'll probably do
Uh,
more DPS and be like better for melee, but for ranged, I don't think he'll be as like functional for like a Blood Warp battery.
well, Holy, like I'm checking if you scroll, like if you want to scroll down and then we'll go
Hmm.
back up. If you go to like page 16, you'll see the Holy Light rework.
I don't think we need to go over website
Okay.
multiplayer. Loot
No.
filters, there's just bugs and reworks. Those guys do a lot of work, so thank you.
Yeah.
Um, wow, map recipes can use any rune
Yeah.
now. That's
This
actually
is huge.
that's
Yeah.
fire. So I'm gonna get down there real quick. I just saw that. There's some new recipes that are just gonna make things better, which is nice. Trust me. Actually, we probably should go back up and
Yeah.
talk
We
about
should go
map
through.
changes.
Yeah.
But
Let's just do map. We'll come back to the Act 4
okay,
thing later. Just
all right. So
pin
let's
it
do
and then to
maps.
remember the Holy
Yeah,
Light. Yeah.
yeah. Royal Crypts is tier one. That's actually sick. Royal Crypts, I actually
Yeah.
think is a low key OP map. The layout can be a bit annoying, but it's like just the right amount of open space where a lot of builds can do very well there. I played it a lot as Summon Druid. The mob pool is good. The only annoying thing is that Claw Vipers have insane PDR, but besides that, they're all pathetic little pieces of poop. And if you're not a a physical class, Claw Vipers have really low health. They have like 4,000 health, but like 90 PDR. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I definitely like this change because I really like Royal Crypts.
Yeah.
I was playing it quite a bit. Now it used to be at T1, didn't it? Wasn't it T1, then moved to T2, and then back to T1 now?
No idea. You might be
I
right.
think so. Anyway,
That's
but
yeah, yeah.
I really liked it, so that one's great. Horizons, I mean, that's kind of no more poison immunes in there besides the spires. That's kind of interesting. 'Cause that's,
If it wasn't for the crep, that map would be insane now for almost every
yeah,
build in the game. But since it still has the crep, unless you're playing a MS Zon off screen, Decrep is so annoying. But you know what?
Yeah.
We dealt with Decrep as Poison Nova and ROB for seasons, so maybe
Yeah.
Horizon's Memory is now a new place for Poison Nova.
I think I don't like it's basically just a juiced arcane. So well, it is. So it's. I mean, I would like to see people try it.
Yep. Sewers is now tier 1. I don't care. I think that map was actually really good as a tier 3, and now it's more like I don't care. The map's dead, especially
Yeah,
with poison immunes.
yeah. And just to jump back to West March, I didn't get to test this enough,
Oh,
but
sorry.
it being a tier 1, I'm not sure how I feel. Like it has a lot of tanky mobs in there. It was a tough T2, and I don't know if it's now going to be a tough T1. It's kind
It's
of how
gonna
I see it.
it's
Yeah.
it's just like the Siege Beast in Flag or Bastion. They just have so much health that it's still a good map, but you might want to skip them depending on your damage levels.
Yeah.
But yeah, good
Um,
catch there.
yeah.
Tarajan, I
Corridor.
love Tarajan. Has fire immunes, which sucks because I used to run fire golems on that map, but it's a good map.
It was one of the two best fire maps, which was that and Cistern, I think. Yeah, it was
Yes,
like the free
yes,
maps for them, and now
yeah.
they lost that, so that's kind of
That's weird.
yeah, kind of sucks. But
Fall of
yeah,
Coldam, I think, is a low key good map. Um, and Ancestral Trial, I hate that map. I'll never play it again. I don't know if you have an opinion on it.
um, no, not really. I like it's good fizz map, and no
Oh,
longer has the
okay.
fizz immunes. People liked it,
Oh, okay.
even as fizz, but now it has no fizz immunes, so it's good for that. That's about it. Yeah.
Come on, man. Talk about River of Blood.
Yeah, River Blood. I mean, it's my favorite all-time map. I think I put in thousands and thousands of, probably a few thousand runs on River Blood. So moving it to tier 2, I don't really agree with. To me, it's one of the it's the cornerstone tier 3 map in my opinion.
It was tier 3 from
And
season 1.
yeah, and now adding poison immunes to it means like I can't really realistically do it on my poison builds. Like you can probably, but not. You it'll depend on the setups you run.
Here's the thing, though. Although a lot of the minions had high fire res, maybe since it has no fire immunes, it's actually a good fire map now.
It might be like it might
Yeah.
be this might have now pushed it to be CE's like one of their favorite maps because
Ah,
CE loved it before,
it
but
did.
it had to break the fire immune. Now it doesn't have that. It's probably going to be insane for CE. Yeah.
And for anyone out there who doesn't know, CE can actually do some pretty fast map times with in-game gear
Mhm.
because it's basically one desecrate, two CEs, the screen's wiped, move forward. So it's like 4 casts per screen. Two resulting cool. I'm gonna do this one. I love this map. It was pretty bad for some time, but once they nerfed the Razor Spines, it was good. Low health totals, nice mobs. Well, after Razor Spine nerf, still kind of dangerous, but with good gear, it's not. The interesting thing is that Tomazuten Cool actually used to be a really good cold map back when Frost Nova was OP. And so now that it doesn't have cold immunes and it's a tier 2, I actually think it might be a good Frost Nova map. Because like Frost Nova clears like almost an
Mhm.
entire room.
No, I think that's good point. I think I like the map. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
liked it tier 3, but I think it's a good fit for tier 2. So
Yeah. Uh,
runes. I don't know. You maybe want to talk about this. I actually hate this map.
I
It's
don't
way
care.
too
Let's
open.
move
There's
forward.
no good
Yeah.
pathing. Pass it.
Yeah, but pass it. Lost Temple, I'll talk about this one because I ran it a shit ton on summons on. One of the things I always wanted to do with this map, because I think it's one of the better summons on maps, is actually run a Valk focused build. And now that it doesn't have light immunes, although I was going to be running Infinity, I'm going to do that at some point. I don't know when. I also have to do Pacifist again and some Summon Necros. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Lost Temple. It's actually a really good map. It's got some annoying things about it, but once you get used to it, shit there dies.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. I agreed. Bastion. I think this is not a great change in terms of. I think it's going to be good for people, but it's bad for design. I think because I think it being tier 2 now is a little bit harder, but it's kind of an easy map because of the mobs anyway. So you're going to get the tier 2 density and the level, and no longer having lightning immunes means that P Nova and just Nova are going to blow this map like clear speeds like insane. It's all they're going to run, I think.
I don't know why
Because now
they're
you're
even.
getting better experience. Yeah.
I don't know why they're adding fire immunes and cold immunes. I think that's kind of weird.
No.
Ashen
So,
Plains, funny enough for anybody out there, this map is actually good for certain summoners, namely Fizz Summoner, because they kind of spread out because the map is so open. One of the problems with Fizz Summoner is that there's just too much physical revives, and then you might even have warriors, the archers, they all kind of cock block each other. But this map kind of worked and could do it fast. So keep that in mind. If you want to play with physical revives, this is honestly your best map. Just please have a source of vigor. Canyon of Secheron, I wish we had Fuzzy in here, but I guess you'll talk about it.
I mean, this probably pushed him off the MCE. I mean, he has Fizz Mutes and Fire Mutes, so this is the reason he's not playing it now.
So this was his favorite CE map, and he actually did really good times on it. He's a good map router, but I guess not anymore. Sorry. Kazakhstan. Okay, this map is actually really good, again, for a build that now I can't play on it, Fire Golem. The fire towers are annoying. You could skip them, even with in-game fire golems. They're kind of weird. You stomp them works, but then stomping them's dangerous because your res kind of is whack, even with Zenith. Anyways, it was a good map, trust me, for Fire Golem Running Man style. Now that it has fire immunes, I don't know if it's worth it. It'll probably still work, but will it be one of those maps you can do Running Man and like clear with like good map speeds? Fuck it.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not, exactly.
Yeah. Panda, I mean, this is a weird one to me because a lot of people used to run Panda as fire and just skip the fire immunes because it was such a good fire map. And now that it doesn't have the fire immunes, like,
Oh, so maybe
it's gonna
this is
be,
the map you should go to for Fire Golem now.
yeah, it might be. It does have siege beasts, which were the fire. No, I think so. I think they were the fire immune. Well, not that it was the other model of the siege beasts.
Yeah.
That I believe they were fire immunes. But you could just skip those still if it's too hard, even though they're not immune. I'm not sure, but maybe fire golem's enough to 2 or 3 tick them. I'm not sure.
By the way, it was a pretty popular poison map too for some people, and now I guess it won't be.
Yeah, pretty sad.
Sanatorium, I want to talk about this one, then you talk about the last 3. I ran Sanatorium a lot as pacifist, summon Necros in general. I think it actually might be better, especially now that there's no fire immunes, you could do fire golems. Summons don't really care about tiers too much. It kind of depends on how you're building it, but I actually think this might be a legit map now for summons of any kind. Why? Because there's no decrep. And the mobs don't have that much health, actually. The tankiest mob in that map are the Frenzy Lords, and they're actually not that tanky. Yeah.
Nope. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, okay, flag. I mean, this is going to be the Pinova map for all season for people. It's the new river. I mean, it's tier 3 now. It has no poison immunes. It doesn't have decrep. It has tons of shaman.
That's actually true.
But it has this, so it's like you can just clear the shaman, kind of like what you did Bastion, and just skip the siege beast. Because there is a siege beast, I believe. Or, yeah, siege beasts are on that map. But there's no decrep. It's just moon lords, fetish, shaman, imps, and council members.
Okay, now I'll say something. The true GOAT, Poppy, actually loved Phlegtron all the way back in the day when nobody ran tier 2s. But he did because it was actually a good poison map. He didn't like to crep. Maybe he was always right because farming tier 3 was never that good. And now that it's a tier 3 and has no poison immunes, fucking Poppy, man, played in the future.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the new Bastion, like in the sense of just skipping.
Yeah.
Throne. I don't know if it ever had poison immunes. It always said it had poison immunes. I never ran into any, so I'm curious where that single immune monster was, but whatever. I think it's just a little bit of swap of immunities here. It's no longer fire. It's gonna be a really good fire map.
Right. This actually, it was a great poison map, and 2, maybe it'll be a good fire map now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good one. Cistern is now tier 3 and no longer has poison immunes. Going to be great again for Pinova type builds. It has fire immunes. This kind of makes me mad because, like I said, Cistern and Jungle were the best 2 fire maps, and they both got fire immunes, but they got a few other ones, so maybe
Pandemonium, etc. So I think it'll balance out. I gotta say, Kazakhstan is the only one I'm pissed off about because Running Man felt really good on that map. Ashen Plains is a little too wide open. I thought Kazakhstan was like that nice middle ground.
I kind of like playing in the Act 2 area too. It's kinda, yeah.
Here's the coolest part about the map design in general is that Act 2 is way too big of a town, and you're always pissed off running through it. Well, guess what? Now you have a reason to run through it. So I actually thought that was kind of cool thematically. Okay, so dungeons. You talk about this because I don't think I ever actually ran a dungeon. Well, okay, I did. That was season 2, so so
Yeah,
long ago.
I don't think we know all the changes of dungeons because they said there's things to be figured out, let's say, but the big things are okay, they're no longer dropping boss items, which is huge. The bosses now have like a loot pinata type thing, kind of like Uber Ancients, but a little bit tuned down.
Hmm.
Um, and there is 2 levels to it, so you actually have to full clear now. You can't just rush the bosses anymore. You do have to like kind of kill the one boss, move through, and kill the next boss, and it becomes more dense as you go through.
It's gated.
Um, sorry?
You can't move to the next area without killing the first boss?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, yeah. So in order on the second one, you need to kill the first boss. So like it's kind of, and they kind of reshuffled all the. We didn't get to play with all of these monster changes, but they kind of made it a lot better because like the blunderboars, um, and the bloodbringers, like they kind of nerfed that down a lot. So I think the mobs are going to generally be easier. So there might be a reason to run this for experience. I don't know yet. Um, it's hard
Hmm.
to say. There were just some so good T3 maps before that you had no point doing them. Maybe it makes sense. I don't think it's going to make sense for farming, but it's really up in the air. But I think it's interesting that they're kind of moving it this direction as opposed to boss items. So
I like some of the things about it, like AI delay increased or idle, movement
yeah,
speed reduced, cooldowns on abilities. Succubus is not casting Decrepify. Amplify sucks, but trust me, Decrepify's worse at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. And they also saw that that was a big one. I forgot immunity. They dropped from 180 to 165. So
Oh,
a conviction lower res now can break everything,
hmm.
which is makes it for group play pretty reasonable now.
So you can have two supports rather than trying to have the multiple elemental sources to do it, which is
Yeah.
probably better.
So,
And then remember, your native pierce does ignores the penalty. So once it's broken, a lot of builds can just absolutely obliterate any enemy in the game.
yep. So it's I think
Um,
it's good. Yeah.
good. Okay. Ubers we talked about. Unless you want to say something else.
No, I think no changes since closed beta, open beta,
Yeah.
so it is what it is.
Yeah. And then there's
Yeah.
Uber Ancients. There's Rathma Declone. Anything else you want to say? You had a big
Uh,
conversation about it in beta general, and I could tell you were pissed off, but you were like trying to be nice.
yeah, I'm. It's yeah. I mean, beta chat's always a bit interesting. I mean, you get people from all directions of what they want to do. I mean, we saw some things in Ubertrist that were kind of yeah. Ubertrist was a bit weird in beta as well because there's immunity bugs still, so they were still fighting some immunity bugs. Apparently, that is fixed now, and you should be able to clear all minis and Ubers without running into an immune one. So that part is fixed. There's still cheese. There's still like they stop people from going into buildings, but you can still go over top of the buildings. There's still cheese skills in the game, but overall, I think it is better. Um, Now, Rathma and Declone, they didn't really show us what they're changing in the fight. They definitely have to be nerfing them because Rathma and Declone both have skills that had next hit delay. So if they don't nerf them, people are just going to get obliterated.
Is
Like
it
not all the time, but there's that one frame where you're just going to take everything at once.
so? It's not lightning hose because I know it's not. It's not
Yeah.
firestorm on the ground because those are tick based attacks. So what had next hit delay?
I believe actually it was part of the fire. I had a note here that I was
Was it actually the fire on the ground that only ticks every
yeah,
5 frames instead of every
yeah,
frame? Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's kind of weird.
And yeah, so it's kind of stacks now, so it's kind of annoying. And then for Rathma, it was like all the spells basically had because like all the
Oh,
spells
because
hit a small
he
dot.
had Fisher.
Yeah,
So like the Fisher didn't do that much damage, but imagine taking damage from Fisher constantly rather than once every was it 25 frames like normal Fisher?
yeah, but Fisher has last collide on it, so it was
Oh,
blocking unless you have another mob on
yeah.
top. But every ability, like the teeth and everything in there, like and
Oh, so you'd
like the
get hit by
units,
multiple teeth
yeah,
more often
yeah,
as well. Okay.
yeah. But
All
also
right.
teeth was next hitting delay, like part of the spear, for example, not the full spear, like the percent health,
Mm,
but part of the ability. So like there's more
wow. Weird.
avenues for getting hit all at once. But
Okay.
I think they'll
So
nerf it. Yeah.
yeah. We talked about class changes. I don't want to go through Amazon because it was kind of boring anyways. I wish they would do one thing, and I'll say it in case somebody's watching who cares. Fix the AI on decoys and also the Amazon themselves. Sorry, the Valkyrie, because Ren thinks that they try to call an ability they can't actually use, so that's why they appear to have much longer delays in between attacks. And you'll notice it playing the build. And if they didn't do that, it would feel much better to play summons on. You want to
No,
talk about Assassin anymore?
I think Assassin will touch in the tier list stuff, so I don't think any changes are interesting here that we
Oh,
can
okay.
talk about.
Fair enough.
Same,
Barb,
same with
don't care
Barb.
about. So Druid, I'll talk about Poison Creeper real quickly. It just is what it is. It's too good on declone. They don't like builds that kind of cheese declone. So, you think about Hydra in the old days. Fire Golem, for instance, had some issues. So it just is what it is. It can't be too good based on the fact that you can just run around a fight and just watch him die. Necromancer, we've definitely talked about. There is one thing. We're not sure exactly what Skeleton Mastery is doing to Ray Skeleton Archer because my two guys who look at the notes of the game aren't doing it. So if you could do that so we could figure out for sure.
I checked the season 8 files and the current files, and I didn't see anything different.
So not even
So,
health.
so it might be on the back end, like, because they call those files in their code, and maybe there was a misalignment in their code, and they weren't pulling one of the values for health. It's the only thing I could think of. But everything
Okay.
else looked the same to me. Yeah.
So what that means is actually Skeleton Mastery is 2% ED per soft point on Skeleton Archer. So it does do something. I forgot about that, but it does not give the hard point synergy and probably does not give health. Paladins, we talked about. There's definitely interesting changes to auras in general. Do you want to touch on anything or just keep going?
No, I mean, the only one is there was a fix to Vengeance. That's why it's highlighted
Okay.
there. Vengeance tooltip was completely wrong during beta. Now it's fixed. So,
Yeah.
classic.
Black. Yeah, it's normal. So Sorceress, by the way, we can talk about Inferno and Arctic Blast. Startup time is now 3 frames, which is incredibly quick. And so what I didn't understand is since the startup time is so quick, it's basically one of the quickest ways you can do damage after a teleport. And that is really, really cool. So they actually might be valid builds. Energy Shield will now work off class, and there's one item in particular, like Zahn has the Ulyssean's Awakening, so that might be cool. And then, of course, Teleport has been significantly buffed, and Sorceress will be insanely powerful next season.
Yep, we're gonna see Frost Nova and Nova just being the top 2, I'd say, of everything, but so many other builds are also gonna pop off for Sorks.
I
Frozen Orb, yeah.
Oh, you mean for Sork? I still don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to beat Poison Nova, because back when Nova was still able to do T3s good, Poison Nova was better. So again, Poison Nova's been nerfed. It's not quite like it was, but I still think at the end of the day, a GG Poison Nova beats a GG Nova. But we'll see. It's definitely
we'll
not for
see.
sure. Yeah, fair enough. Anything else you want to talk about with items?
Items, I mean, the drop rates of stuff I'm not too interested in. The one that most important here is the first purple item there,
Okay.
which you'll see is the procs from items no longer share next hit delay with the players. So that was something we were seeing.
Whoa.
That is a change after open beta.
So wait, so that means there's like certain items that have like a Nova proc or a Charge Bolt proc, which you couldn't use on Charge Bolt or Nova Sork. Now you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually a valid way to play those builds, except it kind of sucked because you couldn't actually do it. Oh, that's actually a big change. Okay, no, that
the
is.
big standout. There was a huge math competition basically in CB in the closed beta general, but they were showing how Ormus robes with Nova was hitting like after 2 casts it was blocking the next cast because of your on strike chance. So this is like, for example, a fix to that. So if you're using Ormus with a Nova proc, now you're going to be able to just use that on a Nova Sork and never block yourself, which is huge.
Ormus has a chance to cast now.
Yeah, that's an item change now. If
I
we
didn't even
go,
read that.
yeah,
I will get there. I believe you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Ormus
So
was significantly buffed, and we'll get there soon. Trust me. So let's go through crafting really quickly. By the way, guys, I just want to say one thing about crafting. Diamond is broken, and as someone pointed out, there are reasons to use almost any craft in the game, or at least a lot more than you'd particularly think about. For instance, amulets have faster run walk. I always forget about that. The blood amulet. And faster run walk is actually really useful early on and later. It's not just early on. So craft more and particularly focus on diamond crafts. Anything you want to say real quickly like that?
Yeah, the only other big one I would say is safety weapon now works on all weapons instead of just bows. They nerfed it a bit for
Oh,
the damage, but now you have that extra guaranteed ED roll there. But it has knockback, so I'm not sure how great that is.
it is a high ED roll, but exactly, knockback can be really annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So otherwise, yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, people should be crafting more. Hopefully, they do it.
Seriously, like there's a diamond craft for your helm that takes an L rune, and it's actually a solid helm that's going to be great for your merc or yourself until you find something better. An L rune.
Yeah,
Are there any
it's
interesting?
insane.
It actually is. Oh, Azure Wrath was significantly buffed. That
Yeah,
actually might be a
yeah.
legit item.
I think that people are going to use that now, so I think that's quite interesting. I like that
Yep.
change. The next, I would just scroll down. Nothing super interesting except the Ormus robes. You'll see
Yeah.
huge change on there. So it's up to
Well,
40. Yeah,
hold on, hold on, hold on. Demon Machine slightly buffed,
yeah,
and yeah. All right, let's go. Wait, War Strike slightly nerfed, and then anyways, let's go to Ormus Robes.
yeah. So you're getting 40 faster cast rate native on there now.
Oh,
Better
oh,
rolls on the
oh, hold on,
elemental.
hold on,
Mm.
hold on. This is more important because I played this build that you still carapace for ATD. The roll is not as big now.
Yeah, you gain 200 ATD. Good luck.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That one guy's still not going to sell you that F carapace. So
Dude, he tried the. What a fucking jackass. Anyways,
yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Okay, so 40 FCR in this thing, insane. The rolls are now 12 to 15 instead of 10 to 15, which is insane. Um, the big thing is
Yeah.
bonus skill now rolls from a smaller pool. So
Mm-hmm.
you can basically get like a 3 to Nova, Ormus robes, and what's below there is added 12% chance to cast level 26 skill of whatever the 3 to bonus was. So if it's a 3 to Nova Ormus, it's going to cast a level 26 Nova 12% on casting.
I don't think that's a big deal for Nova. I do think that's a big deal for Combustion. It's probably a big deal for Chain Lightning. Maybe
Yeah,
a big deal for.
Me- Meteor's nice. Like there's a
Oh,
lot of
Meteor.
ones that yeah,
Charge Bolt would actually be nice
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So
There's a
there's
lot of
actually.
ones. So yeah,
So this Ormus Robes is going to be insane, and depending on your build, the chance to cast actually might help you clear faster. That's kind of cool.
yeah,
Atma's Whale nerfed. That's actually pretty big nerfs. And by the way, Atma's Whale, kind of everybody realized it was just too good for almost every build in the game. Even though it only
yeah,
had +1 skill, it just gave you way too many stats.
yeah. So I like that. I like that change. I'm surprised we didn't see any change to the good old. What how'd you call it? Q Ergens or
Oh,
you
K
always give a good
Jurgens?
name.
Yeah, K
Yeah,
Jurgens.
yeah. I think
That's
that
also true.
probably
It's
should have been adjusted, but
maybe a little bit.
yeah,
It's kind of
it
like
is.
K Jurgens is also the other go-to chest, but I think Atma's actually might have been better. People just get distracted by plus skills.
Yeah.
Um,
Rune words. Nothing. I mean, there's some small changes, plagues.
yeah.
Um, it's really just some small adjustments on there. The one I'm curious about from your point of view is stone. They added this replenished charges of clay golem. I'm not sure
You mean just for
what.
defensive purposes for the slow?
Maybe, yeah, but you don't get golem mastery, right? Or won't it just die? I'm not sure how this works. Well,
Stone, by the way, is actually a really good swap armor. Who used it first? I think it was Landis. Maybe? Or
mhm,
MCH? One of those two. Those guys are
yeah,
always doing stupid shit. Has super high defense and is super cheap. It's basically better than Steel Carapace, except doesn't have skills. Yeah.
yeah.
That is interesting. I don't know though. But by the way, Brand now has 8 archers. I'll definitely be testing that at some point. And that's it because nobody cares about ferocity.
Yeah. No, that's good for me. Yeah, the
Yeah.
rest, I think nothing else. Set items,
Yeah.
not too interested talking about PvP, nothing we
No.
want to talk about, and that's it. That's it for the notes.
I just want to do something real quickly. Special thanks to Renato Mikado.
Yeah, highlight that.
At the top, I did. I highlighted it.
Yeah, he's a goat for sure.
I want to add a special thanks to Dominus because he helped do a lot of the work people do in other build classes, but also did a lot of treasure chest stuff. Helped me understand that. Anything you want to think right now before we go to tier list and start to trash on somebody?
Just thank people before we trash on them. I mean, I don't want to put anybody out specifically. I think there's a lot of pretty good people in the community. I think we fight or bicker for fun.
Skeleton King.
There's some annoying people in certain class discussions that have big egos, but
Oh,
we try
really?
to get past that. No,
We
I mean,
try- It's okay.
Yeah,
All
let's just
right.
move on.
Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Okay.
Want to do the joke one first or the real one first?
Let's quickly do the DH one,
All right.
just to show, but I don't want to go in crazy detail. I just want to highlight issues with it, and then we can go through the other one.
I'm actually going to maximize this for now. Does that sound
Yeah,
good?
we don't need to yes. Yeah.
Okay. Does it go further? No, that's it. Okay. So, why don't you talk about? How about I'll talk about the only things I know about. Let's see. Amazon, Summon Strafe, Valkyrie. I actually think that's too low. I like Summons on a lot. I think it's actually better than Summon Druid. I really do. I think it's better for Summon Druid for mapping and better for Summon Druid for Ubers. So I'd give it a B ranking actually. And then for Summon Necro, uh, so far it seems kind of okay. I don't know why Archers is better than Fizz Skellies plus revives. That seems seems absolutely stupid. Fire Golems are better. Revive plus C. He's still, dude. His summoning tree isn't even worth talking about. Okay, I'm not even gonna. It's just absolutely. I don't even know what's happening there. And then Druid houses. Okay, yeah. I think Summon Druid is actually a C. And I think Summon Zon is like a B. And then Poison Creeper is definitely higher than that. And then you talk about the rest because you actually play this game.
Yeah, okay. We'll just scroll down a little bit. Just do Assassin first. I mean, these are one of
Yeah.
the ones I have a big problem with. You have here Wake of Fire A plus
Yeah.
and Chainlight Sentry C minus. Like, in no way is someone that played the game can say that. And same with Blade Sentinel at C plus. Like Blade Sentinel and CLS are some of the top builds for Assassin. So like to have these in C is insanity, and Wake of Fire is just a streamer clickbait build, in my opinion. It's not very good. Great at bossing, but this is a mapping tier list right now.
Oh, okay. I actually
Y-
think
Yeah,
Wake of Fire is really good at cows. And as we know now, cows is actually a legit farming choice. Maybe not
yeah,
in game, but for the
yeah,
first few weeks of season, I think it is a worthy place to spend your time.
yeah. Um, yeah, valid. And if we go down
Yeah.
a little bit, Phoenix Strike being a B is insanity. That's like an A to an S build, in my opinion. And
Wow.
no way of Claws of Thunder is a higher ranking than Phoenix Strike, which is just a better version of Claws of Thunder in terms of what it actually does. Um, so that's
Is Mind Blast really C plus now?
it. I don't know. Mind Blast is really good day 1 to 3. I
Yeah.
have not seen it been good at mapping. I would probably put it a bit lower than that. It's super safe, and maybe he's just
Ooh.
leaning into hardcore too
Okay.
much
Wait,
that
wait,
you
wait,
can
wait,
sit
wait.
back and do nothing.
This is great. Poison Strike Assassin
Yeah,
F plus. Poison Strike Necro A. What do you think about that?
yeah. I mean, first of all, I have no idea how he fucking played this game. And he
Just
has Cobra Strike at a B,
okay,
and
right.
so
There's
like,
Cobra
yeah,
Strike. Okay.
yeah. Cobra Strike at a B, so it's Cobra is definitely better than Poison Strike, without a doubt.
Sure.
Poison Strike is not an A. There's no way. And he has Poison Strike A with Poison Nova A minus. So I don't know. Maybe he unplugged his keyboard when he was playing Necro, and Poison Strike just kept the cloud going, and he was able to clear some mobs, so he ranked it higher. I don't know. The issue with his entire tier list is he based it off of this like kills per minute metric. So he went into a map, killed like certain amount of mobs for 3 minutes, recorded his dot kills before and dot kills after, and then based that on over a couple maps and said, okay, this build has higher KPM, so it's better than the next build that has slightly lower. And that's really how he ranked all these builds, which is a terribly flawed. Like I get the math behind it, but it's terribly flawed that
I
of like
I
actually judging how a build is.
I don't actually think his metric was flawed. I think it's fine that he tried to standardize it in some way. The problem is that he just didn't play the builds right. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then that clearly shows with Poison Nova, with Phoenix Strike, and if you go up to Amazon, having Lightning Strike a B minus and Lightning Fury A, like that is like a lord mindset still. Like that's insanity, really. So like there's just certain builds that he clearly like. Yeah, I get like I shit on him all the time, but it's clear that he shouldn't play all the classes really. Like he should focus on what he's good at or what he likes and get other people to do it maybe, because his metric could make sense. I agree with you, but he is not good at half of these builds, or if not more, and he's judging it based on the play style of 3 minutes that he's only played.
How is
So
MS
yeah.
a B minus?
Well, that's the
It's
problem.
one
If
of
you
the
go
best
in,
mappers in the
yeah,
game. It's one of the, I'm
yeah,
serious.
yeah. So people have certain opinions of MS, and some people don't rate it that high, but it's definitely above a B, 100%. It's definitely in the A to S range. I would say.
It's
Yeah,
definitely the best skill on bow and crossbow tree for in-game
yeah,
zone. Who would argue that?
yeah.
Magic arrow is
So
actually really good, but there's no way it's as good as MS.
yeah, so yeah, and the problem is like like for his metric to work, he'd have to be having the maps and mobs and spawns and everything to be somewhat the same, and he have to have his quality of build in terms of items and skills and stuff to be optimized, right? Because if he's
Yes.
super optimizing a poison strike, but he's going in with rags on his multi-shot, like of course one is going to look better than the other, right?
Like,
And if he does not play it, yeah,
and I don't think he ever goes min max, but the problem is I don't think he even knows what like a pretty good version of the build might be. So,
yeah. And
because
and like I have to give like some idea. Like in Necromancer, he has CE as the highest, which isn't that far off. Like there's reasons to like CE over Pinova. I think Pinova is always going to be better, but like he kind of played CE probably pretty good to rank it that high, but he definitely played the others incorrectly. Um,
but by the way,
but
I was trying to point you to something. Poison Strike other assassin build F plus.
yeah,
But
yeah.
don't you just use that anyways with some Cobra Strike builds? That's what I don't get.
Well, no. So what he's doing there is he's using the Venom dagger to just use poison
Oh, he's just
strike
using.
on a
He's not
dagger.
actually using. I thought he was using like because you use Venom Dagger on Cobra Strike.
No, not to. Most people are using like Venom or Plague, but in a claw, and
Well,
then doing
right,
two claws and using Cobra Strike. So
but
he's
you
using poison.
still use Venom on some Cobra Strike builds, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't
Oh no,
understand he was actually
what he's doing is only using Venom and just
eh,
using the Poison
Poison
Strike
Strike. Oh,
ability.
okay, so that actually does make sense. I'm sure it's actually
Yeah,
very bad.
and actually this skill before they fixed, like back when Cobra was broken, I had tested this in beta and it was absolutely broken because of how the next hit there was no next hit delay on these skills and they just
Yeah,
stacked and stacked and it was just like because Venom was broken. But now it's
yeah,
yeah, it's garbage. So
hmm.
I mean that's it. I don't want to go through too
Yeah.
much. His stuff about like top 10 starters and Ubers and declones kills, like it's all
No,
he has
I
no
want to do
business
one
talking
thing.
about that.
I
Yeah.
want to do one thing, and I don't want to go through all of his starter builds. Well, I want to
Yeah.
do Necromancer real quickly. Let's see. So it goes starter, Uber, Declone, Rathma. Let's
Yeah.
see starter and Necro. Corpse Explosion starter? Put Dark Pact at top. Teeth, that's fine. Fire Golems is a star. I actually think it's a pretty good starter. I don't know if I'd rate it that
Yeah.
highly, but actually I
Yeah.
think it's especially if you focus on fire areas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen worse, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
This is
Uber
like it's
Tristram.
not too out of lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Skeletons is the best. For Ubers. What do you think?
Definitely not. So number three is 100%. Yeah.
Yes, we all know that. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Yeah,
I guess it would be 3-2-1-4-5.
4 or 5.
I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Is how I'd
Technically,
rate that.
what I would do is I'd put Desecrate at top, and then I'd put Revive Golem below. Not just Golems though. Revive
Yeah.
Golem for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Fair. And
Yeah.
I am a little bit curious on these blood golem stuff because like Fuzzy did show
Yes,
those
that is
videos and he was
true.
doing pretty good at that. So there's some discussion there. I mean,
That's true.
yeah. His declone is Poison Strike, Desecrate, Revive, so doing one of those three. Yeah, I agree. Fire. I guess if we say D0 declone, I guess maybe what we're saying. If it's D0 declone, then yeah, Fire Golem's number two, Bone Spirit probably. If you're talking D1 or D2, you're not killing it declone with either of those builds. So
I still think Fire Golems can do higher tiers of Declone. And you
I
kind of think
think
that too. You
I
do.
think I think D1 for sure it can
Yeah.
do.
Maybe not
D2,
D2 anymore.
it's
Too slow.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rathma, I mean, yeah, I think I really the only one I would ever do it on is Poison Strike or Desecrate
So
Revive.
what is the point of Corpse Explosion being one of the best starters in the game? Because it's not. If I had to pick, like, I don't like Teeth early on, but what I will give
Yeah.
Teeth is it's one of the best farmers for Arcane Sanctuary early, and as we know, that's a valid choice. What does Corpse Explosion do early? What?
I think the only thing he's doing is that he's basically, well, I saw him before, he's basically just leaning on revives plus amp and then spamming CE. But the only reason he's rating it high is because he has CE as the number 4 best solo mapper. So if you start CE, then you're closer to
Oh,
endgame CE. But is
what?
that, re-
I don't
you know
think
what I
that
mean?
makes
Like you
any
don't have to change
sense.
class. Doesn't make any sense.
All
But
right.
from his, but from like his point of view, if you don't like you can go into maps pretty early as CE if you just like turn off the timer
Yeah, that's
because you
true.
kind of go in with 8 revives, you
You
have
know what's a
max
you
amp.
know what's just a better version of this? Because Corpse Explosion's actually really good later on, is Dark Pact. It's the same fucking
Yeah,
play, except Dark Pact works budget really well everywhere.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think Corpse Explosion works very many places early on.
yeah,
Even in fire areas, I think it'd be really annoying to play.
yeah,
Anyways, let's move on. We're done with this for now.
yeah.
By the
Let's do
way,
this
there
other.
is no way Fury is the best build right now, right? There's no
Mm,
way.
No, it's not. So
Okay, I just wanted to say that. By the way, Fury used to be a very good choice, but it hasn't been a very good choice. It's solid, but it hasn't been a very good choice in the seasons.
no. Yeah,
No.
I mean he's just out. He like I don't like to talk too much on his declone Wrath because he
Yeah.
doesn't do either content, so I don't know how he makes his decisions. Yeah,
Yeah. So this is my tier list, by the way. Wheat Solo created this all on his own. I tested all these builds through seasons. I have so much knowledge in my brain that I was able to have a pretty accurate tier list. Some people tried to be involved, and I kicked them out immediately.
classic.
Classic.
I mean, yeah. So what this was like, Halen, I guess is however we want to say.
Yeah, he went around and
Like,
tried to get people to put input from the actual classes into it, and I think it's people seem pretty happy with it.
yeah, he's calling it basically the Discord tier list because he's just asking all the Discord people that are, you know, active in Discord really in each class channel to kind of give their input. Nothing's going to be perfect, so there's
Yeah.
definitely things that we won't agree on. I mean, I was involved for part of it, and I had opinions on some classes, but other people said, no, that's wrong, it should be this. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, I don't think one person can agree on everything here. And that's kind of the point of the list. So, um, there will be a little bit of disagreements, but let's kind of go through it. So, did you refresh yours? So, what you see, yeah, probably. So, let's go through Amazon, I guess.
Yeah.
What is summon rated for you right now?
It's a B question mark.
Yeah, okay. Because I think Healen's constantly updating this list, which is nice. So if you,
Yeah.
that's what I have it for mine as well. It shows B question mark. So it's A or a B, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, which I think is,
I think A is too high. I really do. And
yeah,
again, I like summons on. By the way, I think you have to go soon, right?
yeah, I do. So we can kind of, I have
Yeah.
like 15 minutes,
W-
yeah, or so.
Why don't you talk about everything you want to talk about real quick with this list? I'll talk about the very small things I know about this list, and then we'll do a quick wrap up.
Yeah, sounds good. So Amazon, I just go real quick through it so you can see how they kind of moved things across. I think multi-shot could be a bit more close to the other elemental arrows, but they are very strong, so there definitely is some discussion to have there. Lightning strike S plus. This is way more correct than we saw it at C. For assassin, you have traps. S is really chain light sentry. This is very clear to anyone who's gone through the traps in detail. Wake of Fire is an A. I do agree with that. Blade Sentinel, A. Some people really want to push Blade Sentinel to an S. I don't know if I how I feel about that, but I'm not the one that makes the decision on the assassin side, so it's whatever. It's
Isn't it?
definitely an A to an S.
Can it basically
Whirlwind,
clear? Can
yeah,
it basically
so
clear a room now in one cast because it has such a wide hitbox and range?
yeah, like you're throwing just one or two in some of these
Yeah.
rooms and it's exploding, so it's really good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you're limited on the maps you want to do, like so you don't want huge open ones, but
Yeah.
um, the other thing is Blade Sentinel is probably one of the best bosses, so you gotta take that into
Yeah.
consideration as well.
It helps.
Yeah, Whirlwind Sin S, I actually really do agree with this because Whirlwind Sin was a Tiger Strike change that you could actually get the additional splash AoE, and you can go into maps with just an ohm. Once you get an ohm, you can use a chaos rune word. They made me test something yesterday, which is I don't know if you know about this one. Wheat was the old bug in D2 with the broken weapon bug for Whirlwind.
I don't
But
know this.
basically, if you have a chaos, let's say, but it was worked for barbs before, but we'll just focus on assassin. If you have a chaos in one hand and you put a broken claw in the other, like a zero durability broken claw, when you whirlwind, the game thinks that you're wielding two chaoses.
Oh, so it's just a cheaper option.
Yeah, so instead of building two chaoses, you can build one chaos and just use a broken claw until you find your GG offhand amp claw,
Yeah,
whatever
right.
you want to do. So like you basically get two ohms out of one ohm kind of thing. It also
Hmm.
works for Whirlwind. You can get a super GG one hand and then just put a
Huh.
broken sword in the other, and then you have two of them, right?
So
Only
what
for
it
Whirlwind. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What it really is it buffs one hands because in game I think it's still clearly worse. And budget, I actually think that's kind of cool for budget,
Yeah.
to be
It's
honest.
it's
But
really a budget option only, but it's actually sick. But no one really
yeah.
knows about it. Someone asked me to test it, and I was like, okay, it actually does work. So
Wait, so they're not going to
um,
fix it?
no, it's a lot. It's a like LOD bug.
I
So
know, but
like
they've been fixing some of those. Okay, that's cool. I actually think
yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
mechanic for the game.
yeah. It's a really cool. It's just no one really knows about it, but it's a really cool
Right.
mechanic. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I need to bring that up.
Like I
Um,
real quickly, sorry, melee
yeah,
is gated in this game. Now I think it's way less gated than it is in LOD. I think there are a lot of ways to get a high damage weapon fast and actually map effectively, but just anything that helps melee out, I'm always for because they're still worse
yeah,
in general.
yeah, absolutely. To go
Yeah.
quickly, I mean, Phoenix Strike S plus. I do agree with this. The one thing I will say for Phoenix Strike, it really depends on the player. I think it has like a really high ceiling. If you get really good and you can Dragonflight, every second charge as opposed to three charges kind of thing, and get your timings perfect, you can get crazy clear speeds. If you go in and you just hold down, right click and just cycle through the charges, it's gonna look like DH's number, right? So
Hmm.
it definitely depends. It's a skill cap skill. So
I
yeah,
actually kind of want to play that build now. Now that it's actually a really good option. I like
I
kick.
if people really like it and they like being mechanical, I think it's it has the most room for like a player's actual mechanical skills to shine. So if you
That
like to,
actually.
yeah, do that, I think people should play it. Yeah.
All right.
And you do all three elements. You have no immunity issues. You run all the content you want. Usually you focus on two elements or one element, lightning being the key one because the lightning charge is insane. But um, yeah, it's sick. Barb, I don't really want to go too much into Barb because it didn't really have
Fuck
any
Barb.
changes. It's not too exciting. Okay. Sork, I mean, this is what we talked about. So we have
Yeah.
combustion being, S tier. We saw that. Inferno. We have to see about that. Nova, S++. People are saying Nova is going to be the best skill. Is it going to be better than Pinova? Pinova has the same rankings. We have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Frost Nova, S+. It's really close to a Nova. It's just going to depend. Well, it does a little bit less damage, has a bit different gear, so that's kind of where it's sitting there, but you get crazy high defense. Um, I'll go through Druid really quickly. Um, Fire Druid, this Volcano Armageddon, it's basically CE type playstyle, fire slash fizz. It is really good. Um, it's between an S and an S plus. Everyone was pushing S plus. I think you can start with it, you can go right into maps right away, and it's kind of like CE. I think it's
Huh.
definitely very good there. Rabies is the other standout for Druid. Definitely agree there. Necromancer, Pinova, obviously S plus plus. Corpse Explosion being S, it's right behind Pinova. I do agree with that. Poison Strike, we couldn't agree on it. I mean, we threw anything there. I mean, I think actually Poison Strike will get a decent rating when somebody figures out the right build. If it's this Innocence and Notre Dame, Bone Shield thing, and you just need to find the right map, the right, if it's fort or not, and the right abilities. I think it's going to be decent. It's just not going to be S or something crazy. I think it will be viable. I think if you put the money into it. The issue is why bother when you could just Pinova? I don't have an answer, but
I still think the
yeah,
best option is either just going to be your standard innocence martyrdom with blood warp, and you just warp warp warp, or The Running Man, I still think there might be some world where Running Man and but still Innocence. Running Man Innocence is an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Going through the summons. I mean, if you want, you can go through. I did an
I
initial crack at summons. You had some comments. I don't know if you want to go through.
I I actually don't at all. I think everything now is fine. I definitely think there should be a mention of Eternity on the Mage Revive build. I think
Yeah.
Eternity, barring trying to get too many council, would say no one's going to do that. Even just getting 8 council and then what your 6 Travlords, I do think that's as fast or faster than Green Goblin with Act 3 Holy Shock specifically. But
Mhm.
that would be counting the summoning time, because one of the good things about Green Goblin is you don't really care about your summons as much. So that's why Green Goblin does a sub 6 map. We do a sub 5 with Summoner, but that was not counting summoning time. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not sure where it lines up when you do summoning as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And the only like, just differential I'll put in is like Skellymancer versus Green Goblin. That's really the difference of if you're going to use the Act 1 Fizz
Yeah.
or not, right? And that's the clear jump you get from using Act 1 Fizz, and I completely agree with that. It's a massive difference. Yeah.
There is an argument to be made that Act 3 Holy Shock works on all other summoners very well, and
Mm.
it's not that Green Goblin is overrated. It's because it's not. It's just that like all of basically every single summon necro besides Clay Golem's gonna do really good in game and can use a few different mercs. That's the real story at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the
You can
real.
pretty much play anyone you want, and you have
Yeah.
good merc options.
Yeah.
Just don't use Emilio.
Well,
Otherwise, you're
actually, there might be a world where Emilio sees some play again with Defiance and Thorns. I'm not saying it's a good one, but there might be. It could. It's a
good. Yeah.
possibility. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Darkback S, completely agree.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
super good. No one's gonna play it, but
And yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah, no one plays it. And by the way, it should be S plus. It should be clearly better than Corpse Explosion, and it really is one of the fastest mappers in the game and can do any map basically. Do you want to talk about Paladin, or can we just say yo fuck Paladin?
Basically, I'll say Yo fuck Paladin, except for charge does feel good now.
Oh,
So
oh,
elemental
that's actually
charge
cool.
does charge. People put them S. It is actually good now. So
That
if you
actually
like
seems
that,
fun. Yeah,
yeah, play it. Um, do you want to go through the starter tier list?
not really. I think
Yeah,
we've already
I
mentioned most of
yeah
this information earlier, and it's just a little
yeah.
more accurate here.
What I would say is Bubbles kind of went through and kind of did this, and he's one of our speedrunner PD2 goats. So I,
Yeah.
you know,
Now
trust it. Let's say. Go
he
ahead.
is a little more specific on what he talks about as a starter, solo to hell,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's Clay Golems are a good starter in hell. Like you can do
yeah,
Trav, and like Trav farming is legit. So there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. Yeah. Bossing list, I can go for ages on this. What I would say is these are all the ones that I would say this is for D2, like tier 2 bossing with
Yeah.
these classes. Um, they are in order kind of, but they're pretty interchangeable in the class. Like if you pick one at random, like Amazon, Declone, Plague, I think is definitely the best there, but Immolation and Cold both do it very well. So you can go through and do that. These classes in here all have done either myself or somebody else has done D2 tier 2 with it. I'm not saying I've done all these, like people have gone through and done it. So all of these are legitimate builds that you can do tier 2
I'd like
for
to
these
point out
classes.
specifically, Topwig has not done the new T2 yet with Necromancer.
The newest tier 2?
You didn't, right? Or did you finally?
I did last season, yeah.
Wait, when? Like way later? You never told me?
I didn't I have it, yeah, but on my YouTube. Yeah, I never
I don't think
record
you mentioned it because like you gave up, there were 3 kills, and then I never heard you finally went back and finished it.
yeah, I went back. I was T2 Rathma, yeah, because I was, yes, it was not a great start last season because I was away.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And then the 3 people did it. I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I dropped it. And then by mid-season, I was like, okay, I should actually do this. So I geared up and
Yeah.
recorded one, yeah.
I completely missed that then. So besides that, I think we're gonna. By the way, I do want to add one more thing about Summon Necromancer. Blood Golems are now. Let me stop sharing my screen. Wait, what? Why did my camera break? Anyways, who cares? Blood Golems are actually a legit choice to go through Hell in. I wouldn't do them in Nightmare, but you can. But the reason why they're pretty good in Hell is because the open wounds will help you kill bosses fast, and you kind of slow down there anyways. But basically, what you do is you're going to get an Edge rune word on yourself or your mercenary, and then a Harmony so that you can still use an Act 1 physical. Until then, you can just use Vigor. Obviously, Collins Shield works. And basically, it feels pretty good. It can also map right away. I'm not going to say it's as fast as Dark Pact early on, but it might be the fastest budget summoner to go straight through Hell and into mapping.
Yeah. No, yep, I completely agree. And I will give one last advice, which I'm gonna hate to give actually, because I don't know how much I agree with it. But if you are lazy in the new season, as a summoner, and you, yeah, just one of these lazy people, what I would say is just find a way and drop your CTA and have one swap that you leave the game with on your back weapon swap. That's your Leorix or whatever it is, and your shield, and then swap to, and then when you join the game, just do your weapon swap to your mapping gear and just drop CTA, because otherwise you're only going to get the plus skills, and no, you don't get the plus skills. You just get the ED percentage from CTA, and I
I'm
think you
gonna
can kind
go
of ignore that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a step above you. I think unless you really want to push times, and it might even not even save you enough time, I think just dropping CTA is a great idea, except for Ubers, because that extra health buff is really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, like, just ignore it, but definitely do the leaving the game swap. Like, it's
Yes.
costs no time. You just press your mouse button or whatever it is to swap your weapon at a bare minimum. There's no reason not to. So,
Basically there's no reason not to have like plus 10 to your skills and then swap to a whiz spike and just a pretty good shield. It's
yeah,
free.
it's exactly, you could, and there's so many things you could do. Phoenix, like Redemption. There's many things you can run.
Oh, shit.
Plague or whatever. Like, there's so many things you can run. So do it.
Exile.
Like, yeah, exactly. Do these things.
Homunculus is actually still a good shield. It's
Yeah.
better than fucking just a magic shield. All right, let's call it. We're
Yeah.
calling it.
Yeah, let's call it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, season starts soon. So good luck, everyone.
Skelly King out. GG.
Later.
Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever